Hey guys, I'm the Great Jedi. I hope you are all doing well and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a big Star Wars news update that goes over everything since my last Star Wars news update, and originally I was planning to make separate videos of everything, but I'm just going to do that going forward and combine everything into one news update video again like I did the last time, since there's so much information from Star Wars games like Star Wars Outlaws to Star Wars shows like Andor Season 2 information. So whatever info you're interested in, the timestamps are below. Now let's kick off this Star Wars news update with the most recent news in Star Wars gaming, that being Star Wars Outlaws. So for starters, the latest update is Title Update 1.5.2 and was about 2 GB on PlayStation, 4 GB on Xbox, and 2.5 GB on PC, which is quite a bit for just a couple of changes. So for the PlayStation, they fixed a performance issue where the game could crash when using the photo mode, and on PC they improved some graphics, including fixing a black outline around K and foggy areas when ray reconstruction is on, and they fixed some graphical anomalies and outlines in volumetric fog/clouds when ray reconstruction is on. And they also told us that they are aware of an issue that may cause the takeoff option to become unavailable in the Trailblazer, and they said while we investigate, a manual save and reload should rectify the issue. Overall, since this update, Outlaws has had about 9 updates, with some of them being patches, hot fixes, server-side changes, and overall content updates from when the game first came out. And these updates range from little bug and performance fixes to full-on content with gameplay changes. So I'm just going to go over some of the main things that I believe are worth highlighting, but if you are interested in every detail, then I have all the patch notes and source links in the description, and I'll also be putting them up on screen. So the main stuff includes overall stability improvements, including but not limited to VRAM, a hotfix for PlayStation 5 owners of the game who are experiencing progress loss after another hotfix, to which they said to best experience the Outer Rim, we rolled out a maintenance to make sure everyone is playing the latest version of the game. As one of the players affected who had access to an older version of the game, we are aware you might be encountering some issues after this recent patch. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. Once you're confirmed you'll have the latest version, please start a new save to fully enjoy Star Wars Outlaws as our team intended. If you continue on a prior save, you will unfortunately face issues and progression blockers. And keep in mind that this was happening to people that paid $100+ for the gold edition, but they were able to fix this pretty quickly with another hotfix. But at the same time, something like that shouldn't have even been a thing, and they understand that. So for the players affected, they gave an in-game Trailblazer trinket and 100 Ubisoft Connect units, and then later down the line another problem formed with another update, but with screen tearing, but then they fixed that. So we're starting to see a trend where they bring in new issues with their updates, just kind of like what would happen in Battlefront 2, but they are fixing them in a pretty quick manner, which is good. And I will say that it does seem that the trend has been stopping in their later updates, which brings us to a lot more of the cooler changes that start adding up, changing the overall experience of the game, which came around the time that Wildcard got released. And for those that aren't familiar and haven't seen the trailer, my news update, or have not seen me stream Wildcard, it is a DLC that also comes with 2 skin bundles that you have to pay for, but everything else here that you're going to hear is completely free for the people who own the base version of the game. So let's continue with that stuff. The game got released on Steam, they tweaked and improved some challenging stealth moments, they added cross progression and saving, they added a custom controller preset to allow remapping of individual buttons. You can now choose separate sets of button swaps for K, the speeder, and the Trailblazer. They added a new strong aim assist setting, added a new auto transfer option for climbing, which then allows you to automatically hop between climbable objects by moving towards them instead of having to press the button. They made some changes to combat and stealth, allowing for greater player choice, such as giving the player the ability to now keep the picked up weapons in more situations, like K is now able to holster a 2-handed weapon in more situations when climbing, grappling, or using the speeder, which is a game changer already. They also enabled the use of combat in parts of Syndicate districts, they revamped movement, gameplay, and animations, they improved the speeder's response and reaction when called, improved the position of the speeder camera when the FOV was increased, they improved the speeder collision with the environment to reduce being knocked off by the speeder, they tweaked the overall stealth experience by adjusting the AI detection, the number of NPCs in their positioning, patrol pathing, camera detection, and highlighting environmental opportunities to reduce player friction, as well as some other changes that improve stealth, including but not limited to giving players more flexibility in how they approach situations with the addition to tuning enemy AI and speeder travel. They added syndicate names to individual contracts, balanced some of the gameplay from stealth and weapons, including damage, spread, recoil, etc. They made UI improvements, including making it clear whether a takedown could trigger combat, and they added NPC tags above their heads. The dev team also fixed a lot of bugs, such as the veteran level, where reporting to the droid objective would not update after reporting back to MT7. They fixed the issue where K could not dismount the speeder when on a steep incline. They fixed an issue where players could not interact with the triangulation stone in Jet Cordo's questline on Tashara, and where the holo tracker would not spawn in the Trailblazer. They fixed an issue where Meadow played the Cook the Book shift token, and the effect would exist for the remainder of the game, when it should only be there for the next reveal. They fixed an issue where the quest marker was not pointing to the correct objective. They fixed an issue where the objective from Money Drop would be missing, and they fixed a lot of gameplay issues like NPC collisions within an area in Syndicate districts that prevented shooting in some situations. Now, the dev team also brought support for the Nvidia 50 series GPUs on PC, and they made some improvements on the PS5 Pro edition of the game where they updated PSSR to the latest version. And for those that don't know what PSSR is, it's a machine learning based upscaling that uses the PS5 Pro's hardware to improve quality and performance. The PS5 Pro enhancements not only include the latest version of PSSR, but also a higher internal resolution and a single graphics quality mode that runs at 60 FPS. So for comparison, the original PS5 version has the option between 30 and 60 FPS between quality and performance. But now with the PS5 Pro, you can get that quality at that performance level of 60 FPS. Plus, in addition to the quality 60 FPS mode, in an update, they added a performance and balance mode as selectable options with an upscaler type toggle, allowing you to use PSSR or FSR. So now you get to choose. Also, Outlaws did a promotion where you can get this Andor skin if you bought a 40 series GPU before launch, or if you got a code in your email. But now they're giving everyone the opportunity to get it at the price of $5. And if this skin does interest you, then you might also like the next droid skin, which you can obtain for 60 Ubisoft coins. And with all that said, for those that have been in my Outlaw streams, you guys know that a lot of those highlighted fixes and improvements that we just went over were things I had problems with during my experience. So I'm really glad they fixed a lot of those issues. Although, even with all that stuff they improved and fixed, the game still did not succeed to Ubisoft's overall expectations in terms of sales. I can say that they are listening to the community's feedback, which is always a great sign, because a lot of these changes and fixes were done because we asked or had some sort of problem with how the game was. In addition to that, when these updates were coming out, they said that they will be continuing to improve the game. The creative director, Julian, said there may be nothing else quite like Outlaws out there, but that doesn't mean that Massive is moving on from its Star Wars adventure just yet. And as disappointed as Julian is with critical reception, he also understands that there's room for improvement. Going on to say that I think Outlaws has such long legs that this will be a game that millions of people are going to play for years and years, and we're never going to stop improving it. Well, okay, that's a lie. We'll probably stop improving it eventually, but today, my mind is not on stopping. Now, before we get on the next topic of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, let's talk about what we know about the upcoming DLC for Outlaws Pirate's Fortune. We don't know much, but we do know that it's coming out this spring, Hondo's voice actor is coming back for his role in Outlaws, and that Pirate's Fortune is all about the Trailblazers' reputation catching up with Kay, as the infamous Hondo Hanaka needs help to escape a gang of pirates and steal a massive treasure that can return him to his former glory. I also wanted to let you guys know that there's a new edition of the game called the Deluxe Edition that's priced at $90, which is the midpoint between the base game and the Gold Edition. The Deluxe Edition includes the base game, the digital art book, and the Ultimate Pack, which is the Rogue Infiltrator, Sabacc Shark, Hunter Legacy, and the Cartel Ronin Cosmetic Bundle. So it's pretty much the Gold Edition, but without the Story Pack DLCs. So if you don't care for the extra missions, but want those skins, then the new Deluxe Edition will be the one for you. I also wanted to give you guys a heads up on the cost of Outlaws right now, because there's a special promotion going on till March 13th, where it's 50% off, and I'm not sure when will be the next time that they offer that. It could be Star Wars Day, but that's just speculation. It will keep going down in price as the time goes on, but if you're not wanting to wait a long time for the price to go down, then this might be the best deal you get for the little bit of time you had to wait since launch. So normally the base edition is $70, but now it's $35. The Deluxe Edition is normally $90, but now you can get it for $45, and so on and so forth for all the editions. And for the DLCs, if you're buying them separately, they are 40% off right now. Now, moving on to Star Wars Jedi Survivor, we've got a few things to talk about, including the third Jedi game being confirmed, a brand new update to Survivor for current gen, past gen, and even the PS5 Pro Edition. So let's start off with the latest update that came to Jedi Survivor, which is patch 10, and for the PS5 Pro Edition. So in that update, they updated to the latest PSSR version, reduced foliage flickering, improved reflection visuals on Kobo River, and reduced flickering and volumetric fog. And for those that are wondering what improvements the PS5 Pro version has, Bobby Wilkinson, who is a technical director at Respawn Entertainment, said this: "Our engineers have been thrilled to push the boundaries of what's possible with the new hardware, and partnering with SIE has allowed us to deliver an even more enhanced version of Star Wars Jedi Survivor for the PlayStation 5 Pro. In quality mode, we offer our highest ever console resolution at 2160p. At the same time, performance mode continues to deliver a solid 60 FPS. But now, with higher resolutions and the added visual depth of ray tracing for reflection and ambient occlusion. The new PSSR upscaling ensures a sharper visual experience in both modes." Now, as for patch number 9, which was for the PC version of the game, it included some bug fixes, quality of life features, and some overall performance improvements. Now, in between these two patches that came out, there was a hotfix that was released for each past-gen platform, those being for the PS4 and the Xbox One version of the game. And they fixed some issues that some people were dealing with, so for those that were waiting to get Jedi Survivor on past-gen because of any of these bugs, they are now fixed. Now, moving on to the cooler bit of news, we have pretty much received information about the third Jedi game being in the works before, but it was never actually confirmed in any official capacity until this EA's earnings call, where they confirmed the third and final chapter of the Star Wars Jedi series. And they talked about how getting these Star Wars games has been successful for EA, getting a net booking of over $5 billion, which is kind of insane when you think about it. I mean, Lucas sold Lucasfilm for about $4 billion, so getting $5 billion in just Star Wars games from one company? Sheesh. You would think they would make even more Star Wars games. Now, I can go on as to why they're probably not, but that's for another video. But anyways, before I move on to Star Wars Hunters, I wanted to mention that in addition to Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Outlaws getting PS5 Pro improvements, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is also getting improvements, such as improved steady FPS for the PS5 Pro. Now, moving to Star Wars Hunters, if you guys have been paying attention to the channel, you guys know that the game was confirmed to be coming to PC, but has since been delayed, as well as a second playtest, which I understand from a development standpoint, and I do want the release to be good, so this is a good decision for them to make. But as a player, I'm a little bit disappointed because I'm really excited for this coming to PC. I honestly think that this will make me want to jump into the game even more and really spend more time with it, because right now, even though I do have fun with the game and enjoy it, I feel like the main thing that's holding me back is the overall quality and the flow of the game. And what I mean by that is how responsive the game is and the overall graphics. And I'm not saying it's a bad quality game or anything, because I don't think that's the case. Otherwise, I wouldn't play it at all. But the only reason why I'm even playing it right now is because it's not only a fun game, but because it's also on the Switch with controller support, because it is mainly a mobile game, and I'm not a big mobile game type of guy. So I do believe that if the game came to PC and it has that controller support, it can fix the overall flow of responsiveness and graphics, which are understandably being limited right now because of the power of the mobile devices and the Nintendo Switch. So as a player, like I said, I'm a little disappointed that it got delayed, just because I really do want to get involved in the game on PC. I just really wish that they would have had an open beta for everyone on PC until the official launch, since it's in a playable state. I mean, yes, there are things wrong with it, and that's why they aren't doing that. But if people know that you're working on it and it's not the official launch, it's just a beta, why not allow people to play on it and start giving you guys even more feedback to improve, rather than just the limited information that they've gathered for players within that short time. But anyways, that's just my thoughts on Hunters coming to PC, and wanted to let you guys know that it is delayed, but they are working on it, and once they come out with a new launch date, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Now, if you guys remember a while ago when I talked about the Vader's Castle map in one of my news update videos, you'll notice that I reported the devs saying that they're not sure when Vader's Castle will be back in the game. But when I was playing it on stream, I got to play on it, and it is apparently back in the game, and I haven't seen any announcement saying that they brought it back. So I'm not sure if they took it out and decided to put it back in, and they're keeping it there, or if they never took it out to begin with. I'm not sure, but from what I can tell right now from my research and experience playing the game, it seems that all the maps are there playable in the game, which is great and how it should be and should stay that way. Even on their website, they're showcasing all their maps, so I'm not sure what this statement is all about. I just thought it was a little weird since what they were replying to had nothing to do with Star Wars Hunters, but they kind of turned nothing into something because it's not normal taking content out of a game, or at least it shouldn't be. Which then leads me to my next point about the newest map addition, Coruscant. That's right, you heard me right. The new map for the season is Coruscant, and it looks pretty cool. And if this is news to you, the trailer for the map is on the channel if you want to check it out. And while we're on the topic of new content coming to the game, when is Season 6 going to drop? Well, we don't know for sure yet, so this is speculation, but let's just look at some of the evidence. In Season 3, we got a new hunter, Pillbush, a new map called Hoth Frontline, and some balancing. In Season 4, we got a new hunter, Nox, a new map called Andor Aftermath, and some more balancing and new modes to try out. In Season 5, we got a new hunter, Gilkin, a new map called Coruscant, and some more balancing. So we're starting to see a trend not only in the content, but let's look at the time gap between each season. Season 3 is towards the end of September, while Season 4 is towards the end of November, which is a 2-month gap. And then Season 5 is towards the end of January, which is another 2-month gap. So there's a trend of about 2 months between each season. So based off of Season 5 coming out at the end of January, I'd assume that Season 6 will be out around the ending of March or into a bit of April. I say that for Season 6 because according to the amount of time left with the Season 5 Battle Pass, it says that there's still some time left that will lead us into about the second week of April. So that's what I would expect Season 6 to come out. But I'll be sure to let you guys all know when we get an official date for Season 6 or if there's any other information that gets announced. I'll also be covering Season 6, so be sure to subscribe if you're not already. I know I really haven't been covering Star Wars Outlaws like I should be and have been wanting to, or really all the Star Wars news for that matter, and I apologize for that. I really do feel bad and want to fix that. And hopefully you guys have still been getting all the big news on time through all the trailers I post and things I talk about during streams, but I know not all of you guys see that, so I'll be better about getting these news updates out back on time like I used to. Now moving away from Star Wars Hunters and into the next bit of news, we have some remasters / re-releases of some Star Wars games we've got to talk about. And there's been quite a bit lately. I know this is a bit late, so this part is more of a news roundup for these games, and hopefully you guys have seen the trailers I posted on the channel to keep you guys updated and the bonus info on Twitter if you follow me, but if not, let's get you updated. Aspyr has released Star Wars Jedi Power Battles on PC, PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox. And compared to the original, they added some new improvements and features like a lightsaber toggle. Mace Windu has his purple lightsaber this time. You're able to change the characters for the beginning because all secret characters and levels are already unlocked at the beginning, including a Tusken Raider, a Rodian, and many more. Cheat codes are back, including Big Head mode and Bigfoot mode. There's gameplay improvements such as smoother jumps and overall better balance while keeping the nostalgic feel of the original game, expanded game modes, and you can progress through the game all on your own or with the help of a second player. In addition to the main campaign, Jedi Power Battles include 7 training rooms to practice skills like jumping because that tree in Naboo isn't going to climb itself, and a versus mode where 2 characters can battle it out. The game costs $20, and if you get it on PC, these are the specs that are needed. Now the next re-releases we've got to talk about is Star Wars Bounty Hunters because it got an update fixing some of the issues the game had and made various graphical improvements for all platforms. And for other little bits of news, I wanted to let you guys know that KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2 are free on mobile through Epic Games until March 20th. It's not something I'm personally interested in since I'm not a big mobile guy, but for those that are, I wanted to let you guys know that the option is available. Also, for the Old Republic fans, I wanted to let you guys know that Star Wars The Old Republic is eventually coming to Mac. It's been in beta for a while now and still continues to be, but it seems that they are still working out issues for its official launch. Also, Destiny 2 got some really cool looking Star Wars skins, so if that's your cup of tea, I'd check them out. Now, when it comes to these remasters / re-releases, I think they're cool and all, but I do find some of them overpriced for what they are, and some of them just have too many issues to be launched in the state that they were at. And I'm doing a lot of generalizing here because I know it's not just one company that is in charge of all these re-releases, but these are just some of my thoughts as someone who is seeing all these Star Wars games released as a whole. Because there's been some re-releases that seem really good, while others are just a plain and simple cash grab. I just feel like we want new Star Wars games in addition to all these re-releases, because most of the time, it just feels like we're getting rehashes of old Star Wars games and paying about half as much as a full-on new AAA Star Wars title. And I know these are also the companies that don't make new games, especially new Star Wars games, and their specialty is remastering. It just feels really empty in the Star Wars space right now, and really has been for a while now. I understand there's some Star Wars games in the works, and we got Hunters and Outlaws that pretty much just released, but that's not really a lot given to what we were used to before Disney bought Lucasfilm. And since they opened up the rights and IP to all companies after the exclusive contract was over with EA. Anyways, that's just some of my quick thoughts and 2 cents about the overall state of the Star Wars games right now, with most of them being these remasters, in which some still aren't great. I'm all for them generally. I just wish some were of better quality and cheaper for what these companies are delivering. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I do want to make it to a point where I'm playing all of these re-releases on stream at some point, and when I do, would you guys be interested in a review or maybe some other content around them after I get out these newer reviews and content that I got going on right now? If that is something you guys would like to see, let me know, but it won't be for a while because I've already got a lot of other content that's in the works right now that include reviews from the games I've already played, but I'm just kind of curious to see if there's anything in particular you guys would maybe like for me to cover one day. And speaking of things I'm going to cover, I wanted to let you guys know that I haven't forgot about Kyber for Battlefront 2, and notice that a lot of you guys would like me to cover that, and that's awesome. I think there's a lot of fun content there, but I wanted to let you guys know that right now they're still in beta testing, and at the moment I'm not a part of that, so there's only so much I can do as of now. But I am working on some content that will lead up to launch, including some mod videos, but I probably won't be able to deep dive into Kyber 2 until the official launch. We don't know when that's going to be yet, but I'll keep you guys posted as more information gets announced. I'm really excited for Kyber 2 based on some of the stuff they're working on, and while I'm working on some lead up videos to that, would you guys like to see some other types of content, like what Battlefront 2 could have been if they kept up the support, where I'd gather all kinds of information from the devs and interviews, because I've kind of started a project like that but never really went all in on it yet because I know it would take a lot of time and didn't want to be spending all my time doing that if that's not something you guys would like to see. Or maybe if you guys would like to see maybe a separate video where I show you guys how to play the OG Battlefront 3, because for those that don't know, the original unreleased Battlefront 3 game that was intended for the Wii now has been available unofficially through the PC. So would you guys like to see a tutorial on how to play and try that out on PC? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, moving away from Star Wars gaming and into Star Wars shows, Star Wars Visions is getting a Season 3, there's new episodes coming to Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, and Revenge of the Sith is coming to theaters on April 25th to select theaters for 1 week for its 20th year anniversary, just like they did for Return of the Jedi and The Phantom Menace. I'm overall excited for this since I was not one of those who got to see this movie in theaters the first time around, and this is my favorite movie of all time. So I'm personally super excited for this, and I'm not planning on missing this opportunity. What do you guys think about this? Also, if you guys have been keeping up with all the trailers I post on the channel, then you guys know that Skeleton Crew launched and that Andor Season 2 is on its way, starting to release on April 22nd. There's a total of 12 episodes and they're going to be released in a different way. So, in the past, Disney has released an episode each week following the launch, and they may sometimes have 2 episodes the first day. But this time around, Andor is getting 3 episodes the first day, and 3 episodes are coming out weekly on Tuesdays until all 4 chapters are released. So the story is unfolding in 4 weekly chapters. So they're trying something new here, and I wonder if that has something to do with having different writers for each of the chapters. So for the episodes released, we obviously have episodes 1 through 3 coming out on April 22nd, and then we have episodes 4 through 6 coming on April 29th, episodes 7 through 9 coming on May 6th, and episodes 10 through 12 coming on May 13th for the finale. The lore time frame in this show also spans across 4 years leading up to the Rogue One film, and this season seems action-packed, so I'm actually pretty excited for the show. I personally liked Andor Season 1. I think it's like their best live-action show that didn't break any lore, but at the same time, I did think it was on the slower side, but I was okay with that as long as the second season kind of steps it up, because we know it leads into Rogue One and we know how Cassian is in that movie. So they would have to cover a lot of stuff or just cover enough with a time gap, which seems to be the approach they're taking, which I do think is smart. So I think this show has the potential to be the best live action show, and I'm actually kind of wanting to see it, which is crazy. I can't believe I'm actually saying this again. So with that said, would you guys like for me to bring back the watch parties? Because I'm interested in checking that out, and I decided to give Skeleton Crew a try, and to my surprise, actually enjoyed it. And I also would like to see the John Williams documentary and some of the other behind the scenes stuff, as well as watching possibly Clone Wars again, because I haven't done that in a while. So I'd be down to start the watch parties back up again if that's something you guys would be interested in, especially since it lines up perfect with when I'm trying to plan stream month, which I am working on making happen hopefully in April. It's not 100% confirmed yet, but that is what I'm going for, and I'll be sure to let you guys know when it's for sure happening with a roadmap like I always do. Now, for our last bit of news that I'm sure most of you guys have heard, Kathleen Kenedy is reportedly stepping down from her Lucasfilm president position by the end of the year. Now, notice I said reportedly because you guys know that I stick to confirmed sources, and when it comes to leaks and stuff, I normally don't talk about it unless it's worth talking about. And I do believe that this is happening and that the evidence supports it. So let's rewind to last year, because there was a similar claim that said she was stepping down, and then a later interview came out with Kathleen Kenedy saying that she wants to leave on a big win. Which then, after hearing that statement, a lot of people, including myself, thought she'd pretty much never leave, because they haven't been putting out any wins for quite some time, and there doesn't really seem to be any wins in the future right now. Now, fast forward back to now, and we have multiple journalists with similar sources near Kathleen Kenedy saying that she will be stepping down by the end of the year. Then there's another interview where Kathleen Kenedy says that she'll never retire from making movies. So people are looking at these reports and are taking extreme sides, saying that she's not stepping down because she says she'll never retire from making movies, and the other side of people are saying that she's outright quitting because she's stepping down, when the sources and reports are saying something in the middle. They're saying that she's going to step down from her presidential position at Lucasfilm, but she's still going to be involved in the process of making these movies. Now, still take all this with a grain of salt, because this is just reports and not confirmed, but it does look like, given this current trajectory, this is something we could probably expect. Now, it can change just like it did last year, and only time will tell, although this really just comes down to, if this happens, what will change? That's the big question, and I know a lot of people are happy that she's finally stepping down, which I can understand because I don't think she did a good job, but at the same time, I can definitely see it getting worse or better. I know it's hard to believe for some people that it could be worse, but yeah, it could. A lot worse. We really won't know until we know who the replacement is going to be and how much power she'll still have while in these projects from even a lower position. Only time will tell. Hopefully it's for the better, but at the same time, it's much more than just one person. I know a lot of people like to blame everything on Kathleen Kenedy, but the truth is, it's not just her. Yes, she is a big part of it, but if you just move her around in the equation, I don't see a whole lot changing for the better. There needs to be big changes for Star Wars to change directions. It's multiple people that need to be flushed out for things to change, and unfortunately the chances of that happening are very slim. And if that did happen, people that are good at their jobs will also lose them. It's going to be a combination of people that are good at their jobs and bad at their jobs. So in other words, for things to change, things would just have to be shaken up. Now, with this news of Kathleen Kenedy, it leads me to thinking why. Why does she want to step down to a position with less power but still be involved? Now, I can speculate and I have my thoughts based on the evidence, but that's exactly what they are, speculation. So there's no reason for me to talk about why I think this is happening, because frankly, I could be way off. There's only so much we can go off of because we don't have the full picture. The truth is, there's really no way to know why this is happening for sure, unless Kathleen Kenedy or someone involved that knows what's going on shares the information. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did and are interested in Star Wars, then this is the one-stop channel for you, so please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell down below so you never miss a video. It's all completely free, and you can unsub at any time. Also, please consider sharing and smashing that like button, only if you enjoyed, of course, and if you didn't like the video, that's cool too. Please feel free to dislike it, and if you guys have any constructive criticism for me on how to make these videos better, then let me know in the comment section down below, so that way I can make better content in the future. I also wanted to thank you guys for your extended patience for me once again, and I'm sorry for not getting this out sooner, but you can expect videos starting to roll out and me streaming more once these videos get on a roll, which is already starting. This year of 2025 is just getting started, baby. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, LBA all the way, and may the Force be with you always.
Duty.